Please allow me to introduce myself. My name is Sugar Shane Pinto.
And here we go for another edition of Jofo in the Ring. And yes, my name is Frank Jofo, and the people have spoken, and I have answered with the hottest pro wrestling manager in sports today, the one and only, my friend and yours, Sugar Shane Pinto.
Frank, my friend.
How are you, my friend?
I'm killing it, man. Hope you're
All right,
too.
very good, very good. And we're here to talk about you and you only right now. And I am excited to get this done right here. So Shane, let's start off at the beginning. Professional wrestling for you. Where did it all begin for you? Where did that love for professional wrestling begin for you, Sugar Shane Pinto?
I always say the same story, right? I was born on a Friday, August 28, 1998. My dad and my mom brought me home on a Monday, and I stayed up and watched Monday Night
Virgo.
Pops. I'm a Virgo, yeah.
Myself as
There you go, bro. See, I knew that. That's where that spiritual aspect that you and I have together, that's fucking cool. But so my dad brought me home on a Monday, and he told me, you were up all night watching Raw. From 9 to 11, you were up with me. You didn't sleep whatsoever. You were watching Raw with me. And then ever since then, bro, my earliest memory ever was Kane taking off his mask.
Oh my God.
Right? You're getting goosebumps. I'm getting goosebumps, bro. Kane takes off his mask. I remember being a kid sitting downstairs in my grandparents' basement, sitting down on the floor and looking up and just feeling something.
Yeah.
Right? And all my early memories, all my early feelings have come from wrestling, whether it's seeing Undertaker for the first time and being scared, or seeing Eddie Guerrero win the championship and having that moment being like, wow, this is something that moves me. That's where wrestling started. And to be able to now, 25 years later, be in this business and have the opportunity, the privilege, the luxury to at least try to give some other people, some fans, the same experience and feel some sort of emotion. What a gratifying thing.
Well, speaking about emotion, I always go back to that scene of you, and I was watching that pay-per-view with Sami Zayn, and that look in your eye when you were cheering for Sami Zayn, it brought me back to when I was a kid and cheering for my favorite wrestlers like Hulk Hogan, and for me to see you there, and I was so happy because I know what you were feeling in that moment, being somebody from Montreal, seeing somebody from Montreal going for the title, and to the point where, and I'm going to ask you this too, and I've asked a lot of people too, I really thought the way they played it out that he was going to come out the victor in that match. What's your thoughts on that?
So that year in wrestling, the theme of it was, fuck, they got me. Right.
Hook, line, and sinker.
They got me. They pulled me in. They made me feel something. So the full circle moment, you touched on that. A man from Montreal who grew up not too far from where I grew up.
Of course.
I get to watch this guy live out his dream. Then the camera is putting me on TV for just a slight moment, and I'm cheering on not just my guy, bro.
Yeah.
That's our guy.
Yeah.
It's full circle because I can only imagine him in his youth looking at wrestlers, maybe a Rick Martel or other people from Montreal, or maybe a great Canadian like Bret Hart, and being like, that's going to be me one day. Bro, the fact that I am just that small little soundbite, that little piece of history, and that what it was at the end of the day was more motivation. Right? I'm there. I got my girl next to me, the love of my life, and the biggest supporter that I have, and
Of course.
And for her to be in there too was beautiful. Then the first person to message me is my father, who got me into this business, my mom brought me home on that Monday Night Raw to watch Raw with him, and I'm watching a guy from Montreal live his dream, bro. He's the first guy messaging me being like, you made it, kid.
That's amazing.
And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? And he sends me the screenshot, and he's like, I'm like, oh my God. And then a string of people being like, oh my God, we just saw Sugar Shane.
Yeah.
Oh my God, we just saw Shane. Oh my God, you were just on TV. Bro, it's not a matter of being on TV.
Yeah.
It's the meaning behind what just transpired, bro. It's crazy. So for them to capture that, it's motivation. And it just goes to show I'm going to manifest this destiny, and I'm going to manifest the reality of one day you're going to see me in somehow, some way in that ring. whether it be an Elimination Chamber, whether it be a Raw, whether it be a SmackDown, Sugar Shane's going to be in the Bell Center one day.
I see it.
From a WWE
I
ring.
can't wait for that. Did it ever come down to you, like, when you started, did you want it to be a manager, or did you want to be a wrestler first and then the manager just became natural?
So, as I'm sure you know, Bruno, as I'm sure you know as well, we watch this, we get so involved, and we always say that can be me one day.
Of course.
You know, I remember the first time it happened to me was seeing Batista at WrestleMania 21 with the championship in his hand, and being like, wow, maybe one day I can be Batista holding the world title on the grandest stage of them all. But then puberty hit, bro, and I'm not a big boy. You know what I mean? I'm not athletic. I was never an athletic kid. But what I did have was, admittedly, a little bit of charisma, a little
presence,
a little bit of a presence, if you will. So I thought, how can I navigate that and channel this into a better stream in the business, right? So, 16 years old. We'll talk about Torture Chamber. 16 years old. And just finishing high school, and good student, but maybe didn't have necessarily the perspective of goal.
You just didn't know where you were going.
I had no idea where I was going, honestly. I'm a musician too, right? So when I told my dad, I'm going to be in a band, I'm going to be the drummer of a band or be a lead singer in a band, he's like, great, but what's your backup plan? And I'm like, I'm going to be in pro wrestling. He's like, well, maybe you need an option C. But let's highlight that option B for a second here. Let's highlight, you want to be a wrestler? We have to go to wrestling school. I'm like, is there such a thing as wrestling school? And he's like, yeah, down the streets. You know Mrs. Kelman? Her son is Drew Onyx. Her son's Drew Onyx. He has a school. He has a wrestling school in Montreal. Should reach out to him. To which I did. So 16-year-old Shane walked in, I believe it was Montreal North, not too far from my high school, met up with Drew Onyx, shook his hand, be like, you're Pinto's kid? Yeah. Well, what do you want to do? You want to wrestle? I'm like, look, the athletic side for me is not necessarily my forte, if you will. Maybe I can get involved in the backstage. Maybe I can be the next Jonathan Coachman or Mean Gene Okerlund. So we tried that. We gave that a run. So I met characters like, for the first time ever, Mustafa Jordan, Justin Turnbull, Boogly. These are people I met for the first time there, interviewing them, doing a little thing, and it just wasn't for me. I didn't feel like that gratification.
Yeah.
Fast forward a few more years, I go back into actually the training aspect of wrestling, and Showcase Sunday 2 comes around, and hey, Shane, we don't necessarily have a ring announcer. Do you want to give it a try? Not a problem. I'll give ring announcing a try. I just want to be involved. I just want to be involved in some sort of capacity, right? I do the ring announcing thing. Same thing. Unfortunately, that sense of gratification wasn't necessarily there. Then I leave. Sorry. It's a bit of a heavier one, but not the cigar, but the topic. I get sober, right? I was maybe living it up a little bit too much. And then one day I decided, December 26th, that's it. I'm calling it. It's done. We're in the middle of COVID. Everything's closed. I have to be inside by 8 o'clock for some reason. You know what I mean? The whole thing that the world that
we all went through it.
We all went through it. The mental health crisis was crazy, and just so happens 1 week later after I get sober, and I got sober on the day that Brody Lee passed away.
Okay,
so that was a big thing in my life. You know, Brody Lee, Bray Wyatt, huge influences.
Of course,
personally in my life. Of course, may they both rest in peace. 1 week later, I get a notification. I'm in my girlfriend's house, and online courses, develop your promo skills at Torture Chamber Pro Wrestling. Come learn with Drew Onyx. Look at my girlfriend, and I'm like, Then I look at my bank account, and Justin Trudeau put $2,000 in my bank account, and I'm like, well, I might as well maximize this opportunity. Let me reach out. We do the online courses, and your first task is you're going to cut a promo. You're going to be managing somebody going into a battle royal at WrestleMania, and you have to pick somebody. And I did a promo, and I picked Drew Onyx.
Good choice.
Right? Yeah. And in that moment, the light bulb flicked in his head and finally clicked in mine. That's what I want to be. That's what I want to do. Watching guys like Paul Heyman, studying people, the greats, Bobby the Brain Heenan. These are legends and these are gangsters in the sport, bro. These are complete bona fide OGs in the sport who know what they're doing. In that moment, Drew Onyx facilitated the feeling within me that can be me one day.
I think you take a little bit from everybody. Like, honestly, like, like just watching some coverage before, your facial expressions, you remind me of, like you were talking about Kane before, Paul Bearer. Paul Bearer didn't have to say much. It's just his facial expressions told everybody the story.
It's so funny.
Paul Heyman on the mic, you know, continue to go for it.
So, like, we were talking earlier off camera about what makes you feel in wrestling. And for me, it was always the storytelling. So I remember being 6, 7 years old. We had the computer in the living room, right? That was the thing. The family computer.
Yeah.
And YouTube was just starting off to being a thing, and you had
dial-up.
I'm not dial-up. I'm 25, bro. Right. But I'm young,
okay,
you know.
Okay.
But not dial-up. But I have the computer in the room, and I remember putting Undertaker on YouTube. Right. So this is 2000. Let's say 2006, 2007. Right. Here I am wanting to watch the Undertaker Batista WrestleMania 23 match, but then I'm like, Undertaker versus Kane, and why is Kane wearing this full body suit? I'm like 8 years old, 7 years old. I'm like, and who is this with Kane? And then I go back and Undertaker has a secret that Paul Bearer is going to reveal, but Paul Bearer won't reveal it until the
right moment.
No, until the right moment. Yeah. But it was more of the story of, if you come back home to me, your secret will be safe and no one will know. No one will hear about what. And then Undertaker doesn't do it because the good in him, despite being a dark character, I can't go back to Paul Bearer. And then he reveals that you have a brother that you killed in a family fire and he's alive. That's 7 years old.
That presentation, man.
It was cinema.
Yeah.
It was cinema. And then I see a match. I'm like, well, I know who Shawn Michaels is. I know who The Undertaker is. I've heard of Hell in the Cell. This is the first one. Well, what's this all about? I'm oblivious to what's happening next.
The intrigue is building.
The match is my favorite match of all time, bar none. That's number one.
First Hell in the Cell?
The first Hell in the Cell and the Firefly Funhouse. Those are my two. Those are my two. And unbeknownst to me, the lights go out, and then the music hits. That's got to be Kane.
That's gotta be Kane.
That shit makes you feel things. And Paul Bearer's walking out, and he has the look on his face, and like, I'm looking at Paul Bearer, and he believes that he's alive. Yes. It's a horror movie, bro. Yeah. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's what wrestling's all about, bro. Making you feel certain things.
Making you believe.
Making you believe. So I appreciate the compliment and the sentiment that I'm taking from everyone. The reason why I take from everyone is because I've watched everyone. I'm a student of the game. A lot of people say they are, and like, it sounds hokey, but like, bro, I love this business, bro. You can't catch a moment of me not thinking about wrestling, watching wrestling. RBC, please don't fire me because I do work for the bank. But I'll be watching wrestling during work hours, bro. It's bad. Like, it's consumed my life, and in the best possible way.
What is your favorite manager? Has everyone ever asked you that?
Everyone asks me that, and it always changes, man, because I go back and I look at the greats like Bobby the Brain Heenan, bro. That without him, there would be nobody. But I would be remiss to say that it's not Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman, what he was able to do and what he is still able to do to this day, which makes him the GOAT bar none. We know Paul Heyman, the character, but you look at the guy behind the scenes, man, who created a company, who created literally an anti-establishment movement to the WWE.
Took a chance.
Took a chance on himself, and his mindset is just to die for. The guy went bankrupt. ACW went bankrupt, and he didn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Right? That's gangster shit. That's rock star shit. So for me, he's able to blur the line between character and reality, absolutely, but he's so authentic in a way, which gradually with time, I hope Sugar Shane gets to be a little bit more like that too.
I could see you running a promo like he did on Vince McMahon there, just shoot on him there.
I have a few of them in my phone, bro. There's a couple of people I need to cut promos on, you know what I mean? But to me, that's the guy. That's the guy, because he's able to be he's a manager, sure, quote unquote manager, but he's a businessman.
Yeah.
Right?
He gets it.
He gets it, man. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, someone that doesn't get it, Bjorg, and we know we're going to be talking about Bjorg a lot, but for me, it was great to see him win the championship. last year. I have always said, when you're around, there's always something that's going to happen. You're always ready. You're always prepared. You always have a plan. And the plan was executed to perfection for him to be the British Commonwealth Heavyweight Champion. Now, fast forward a year down the line, now you are against him now with your good buddy, Johnny North, Genesis. What's the story there? What happened from him winning the title to us sitting here right now that you guys are enemies now? What's the story with?
Well, so we'll talk about the wrestling side of it, the pro wrestling aspect of this relationship, right? Bjorg Haken was a beast before Sugar Shane Pinto came into his life. That goes without saying.
100%.
He's a big boy. He's a dominant guy. He looks the part. 100%.
Yeah.
The role that I had was just to add that little bit of spice, a little bit of sugar.
Yeah.
For lack of a better term. and together, we have cultivated
You guys
something really fun.
Yeah.
We couldn't have done it alone. I want to shout out Savage Paulson,
of course,
because he knows how much I love him. He was very instrumental in making Sugar Shane the most despised piece of shit in Torture Chamber Pro Wrestling.
you could ask his son. I'm sure he still despises you to this day.
I'm sure he does.
His
He
wife as
had
well.
some colorful language for me.
Yes.
He's a good kid. I hope they're doing well.
Yes.
And Stefan, love you. I hope to see you soon. Fast forward to when Bjorg loses the title. We look at the creative of it, and I'm presented. Let's peel the curtain back a little bit. What if we turn Bjorg into somebody to be loved? And I couldn't think of a better way to do it than have me just completely shit all over him. Me drop him. Me be consumed with this idea of, well, without me, you wouldn't be. The world will never be Bjorg's unless you have Sugar Shane Pinto in your life. I truly believed that from a character standpoint, and now here we are. I'm assuming this is going to come out after Pandemonium, and it's going to be all said and done. Now, maybe I'll be in a neck brace like Tony Khan. I don't know. But the reality is, Bjorg Haken and I understand each other like on a symbiotic level. Our end goal is to make sure that those people, those fans, are entertained. And I owe Bjorg a lot because he was my first.
Of course.
He got me into this.
Yes.
So he's great. I think he has a lot to give to this business with and without Sugar Shane Pinto. And yeah, Genesis. Look, Genesis too.
Veteran in the game.
Veteran.
He gets it too.
Like, my favorite moment in my very short 2 years actually happened on my first ever Torch Chamber show. My grandfather, who is a huge wrestling fan, loves Johnny North because he listens to Johnny North on the radio.
He's on the radio, yeah.
He's still on the radio, and he attests to a lot of the same viewpoints on wrestling and the business. And when he found out that you're going to manage him, you're going to manage my favorite wrestler. Yes. Comes to the first show, he loves it. I go see him after the show, and I'm like, "So what do you think?" And he's like, "I can't believe you got to manage my favorite wrestler." I'm like, "Do you want to meet him?" And he's like, "You're gonna bring him downstairs? You're gonna bring John North downstairs?" I'm like, "Yeah, we'll take a picture." He's like, "No way, John. Let's go downstairs. My grandfather wants to meet you." Okay, no problem. Nice to meet you, sir. No. The fucking elation on that man's face. And I got to do that, bro.
Yeah.
Like, whatever.
Such a feel-good moment.
What a
too.
moment,
It's
bro.
like, wow.
My grandfather got to meet his favorite wrestler because of me. Like, that's beautiful, bro. Like, what? And if you know me, you know how much I love my
Yes,
family.
yes.
And you know how much I love my grandparents, especially, because they really helped out a lot.
I've seen them in the crowd as well many times.
Oh yeah, that old woman who wants to get in the ring and fight the other guys. That's Rosa, bro. You don't fuck with Rosa, bro. And Emilio too, bro. So shout out to them. And shout out to John because he gets it, and he's been so instrumental in helping me cultivate my young mind in the wrestling business. So with that in mind, Bjorg, John, Jason, the good guys, very good guys.
the art of the promo. Like everyone has their way of doing a promo. They prepare, they plan, or they just shoot right in the ring and say, let's see what happens. What's your game plan? Like if you know you have to do a promo in the ring, because you are one of the top promo guys, managers, wrestlers, whatever in the game right now. There's when we say you are the hottest pro wrestling manager in the game today, there is no lies behind that. What is it? What goes behind your promo? Because your promos are always top of the line.
It's a spectrum, dude. Like I can go in there, carte blanche, and you have 30 seconds, go, and you have no idea what you're saying, and you go, and I'll go.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll have a lot of preparation going into things, and I have a little notepad where I write down one-liners. I'll write down a whole script. Dude, for me, the art of the promo, it's in the word, right? You're here to promote something, someone. You're here to make people spend their money, right? And people want to spend their money on me eventually getting my ass kicked, bro. They want to see it, right? So I'm going to say big words and use dictionary words because they don't understand it. Half the time, I don't fucking understand it, you know what I mean? But just so I can get that.
Yeah.
Or I'll go in there and I'll do the Kramer thing and I'll wave my hair and do this stuff, and because I want them to be like, fuck this guy, bro. I don't like him. So it's like I said, I can go in there fully prepared, have a script and memorize it word for word. I can go in there willy-nilly and just, let's call him the ring, brother. You know what I mean? So what the end goal is the same. You're there to promote something, someone. You're an event, a person, yourself. Every moment that you have, maximize your minutes, bro. You're going out there. Make sure you're doing the most with your time. You know, so.
For me, you know what? For that, like, there's nobody better than you in the game and promos. And when that music hits and you walk down in those $1,000 suits and those $750 shoes that you wear,
my budget on accessories and clothes it's bad, bro. But yeah, I like to look good, man. You gotta spend money to.
That when you come down and that music and like music wise, and I know that you have a band, you're into music. How does that all come about?
So, music found me early on because I remember being 8 years old. Once again, everything in my life has a story behind it for some reason. I don't know why. It's always this like movie moment. I at my cousin's house, and for some reason, MTV is on. I'm 25, by the way. I was born in 98. There's no MTV anymore, bro. But MTV is on, and I hear somebody, or I watch something, and he's plugging in a guitar, and I hear some feedback, and it's just this shot, and Sweet Child of Mine playing. And there's this guy with a top hat, and he has big hair, and you hear this other, and you hear this guy wailing, bro, screaming, and it's like a demon coming, and it's Axl Rose. And I'm like, sitting there, I'm like,
who is this guy?
Motherfucking, this is great. I love this. What is this? I need more of this. Then they're like, kid's onto something. Put Guitar Hero in his hands. People need to understand something, okay?
I wasn't a big Guitar Hero guy.
Listen, okay? If people are going out there and being like, oh, no, I never played Guitar Hero and Guitar Hero didn't get me into music. You're full of shit, bro. I'm sorry. Guitar Hero, everyone was playing Guitar Hero my age. And when I got Guitar Hero 1, Killer Queen. And I'm like, what is this ballet mixed with rock and roll? And who's Freddie Mercury? What is this? It was Queen, it was Guns N' Roses, and I'm like, I need to do this in some sort of capacity too. So, I was 13 years old, 14 years old, I got my first summer job, I got a drum set, right? I spent all my summer hours working towards getting money, and I bought myself a drum set.
So your parents all with the noise?
My grandparents, so was my grandparents, bro, which is why I love them to death. One of the many reasons why I love these people to death. My grandparents were so cool, and they're like, yeah, the kid can put the drum set in the garage, we don't give a shit. Everyone in the vicinity has the average age in my grandparents' neighborhood in Chambéry of 65 years old. So suffice it to say, they were pissed a little bit, the neighbors, that the kid has a drum set now. But my parents were super invested in, let the kid have a creative outlet, right?
Let's see where this goes.
Let's see where it goes. And it went places, bro, right? So yeah, I was a drummer in bands for a little bit, and then it turns out that, hey, maybe you're better at singing, and not necessarily better at singing, but you're better in the front. Let's see, you can learn how to sing,
yeah,
but you're better in the front. And then the whole show aspect. And look, the way that, and we're going to tie this into wrestling, but the way that the Flair, which is my band,
great name, by the way.
Appreciate that. Huge fan, right? Huge fan. One of my favorites, bro. The way that the Flair presents themselves is so pro wrestling. The way we create our set list is a pro wrestling match. We have a heat. You know what I mean? This is the part of our set where we have the heat. So it's all tying into one another. Sugar Shane is a rock star in and of himself. Shane Pinto, the singer, is a pro wrestling entertainer in and of itself. So it's nice to have these two creative outlets that I can wholeheartedly say are with me until the day I die.
I can see you singing your theme song one day walking on.
Like, what the hell? Okay, like, let's be real here. Okay, with our truth is doing it and killing it.
Yeah.
But what a dream and what a thought it would be for the Flair to walk down, or excuse me, play Sugar Shane to the ring.
Yeah.
I would love that, bro. I wouldn't sing myself to the ring because that's a little too campy in my opinion. Maybe we'll get one of the homies to come in and fill in. But that's a dream in itself, right? That's going to happen one day. Pandemonium 3. Drew, book it, bro. Come on. What are we doing? The Flair. Torture Chamber. Let's make it happen.
So we've been seeing you a lot lately in IWS. And I'm actually pretty excited about that because I'm a big fan of IWS. We have some great friends from IWS as well that have been on their show. Sexy Eddie, Green Phantom, the Casanova Productions, Jeremy Prophet as well. The Animal, Bob the Animal Anger.
Great guys, man.
On commentary, is there one day can we see you as a manager for somebody in IWS, or are you just going to be behind the scenes, or as a commentary for IWS?
Never say never in this business, right? That's always been the tried and true trope.
Give us some scoops here.
Never say never in this business. Right now, in the position that I'm currently with IWS, you got me doing commentary, you got me helping out with the backstage aspect. What I love to be joining my best friends, Tyler Knox and Bray Della Russo, down to the ring and have Elevation perform together. That's a dream, bro. I'm getting chills thinking about it. I couldn't be more proud of those two guys. Anyways, those are homies, bro.
Yeah.
Those are the homies.
You don't forget guys like that.
You don't, bro.
When it goes, yeah, exactly. Years from now,
bro, I have so many people, and we're gonna use this time because we're gonna talk about IWS, of course. But I want to highlight some people.
Of course, the floor is yours.
Highlight Wilson Cola, who you just had on the show. Wilson Cola, when we were trained together at Torch Chamber Pro Wrestling, and I was training to wrestle, and I was learning how to do wrist locks and taking bumps and all the fun stuff. He would drive me home every practice, and bro,
he told us you guys had some good conversations on the way home, on the way there. You know, like
it's nice to have that older brother aspect with him, because he not only was he so generous with his time, but with his advice too. As someone who, you know, it's not every day you have a friend who's maybe 10, 15 years older than you, and who treats you like an equal. So Wilson Cola, that's blood right there. So shout out to him. Johnny Taco, as I was telling you before, would come to my house every time we had a practice. Come work out in the gym. My dad would help us teach us about supersets and trying to get jacked, and you need to do this and you need to do that. No, push harder, motherfucker. You know what I mean? Like Johnny Taco, who helped me in my lowest of times sometimes, where I was ready to call it and I'm never going to make it in this business. I'm never going to debut. I'm quitting. I'm quitting. I'm never doing this again. Yeah, I'm done. And he would be like, we need to do this together. Shout out to Johnny Taco. I just mentioned the Elevation boys, who really facilitated the idea of taking a chance on yourself, not necessarily in their words, but in their actions, who did it themselves and inspired me in a way that I'm eternally grateful for. So that's them too. Yane Harrison.
top prospect.
That's a brother right there too, man. Yane Harrison is someone who, when I look at, he makes me want to be better. He makes me want to better myself day in and day out, because he's a star in the making, but he's not only just a star, the way he holds himself as a person is beautiful.
Yeah.
And all these guys that I mentioned, these are people who I wish nothing but the best for, and I love them dearly. Let's segue back into IWS. Shane Hawk. Shane Hawk took a chance on Shane Pinto, not Sugar Shane Pinto, Shane Pinto, and said, trust me, you can do this. Here's a little story. First time I go to IWS, I was just going there to go hang out with the Elevation boys, hang out with Tyler Knox, Bray Della Russo. You guys need me?
I'm here.
not necessarily it's any sort of creative aspect.
Yes.
I knew for a fact that
You wanted to enjoy yourself. You wanted to
and I wanted to help. Once we're there, Hillary, who used to do commentary there, hope she's doing well.
She was the
commentator for IW.
yes. Okay.
And she's great. A ball of fire, suffice it to say.
Yes.
Was there telling me, and she was, I might be going on to commentary alone tonight. And I'm like, huh, interesting. Like a Joey Styles situation. She's like, yeah, but maybe, I know I'm not necessarily too comfortable, and maybe I need a little bit more help, or
Need someone to bounce something back and forth kind of thing, right?
and then I lied and I said, I've done commentary before. And she's like, you've done commentary? I'm like, yeah, of course I've done commentary. I got you. I'll do it. You're going to do it? I'll tell Andrew. Thinking, she's not going to tell Andrew.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? I'm
Really?
just saying, I'm trying. Andrew comes out to me, Sugar Shane, you're doing commentary tonight. Have you done it before? I'm like, yes. No. You know what I mean? And you're doing it tonight. Complete stranger.
Well, in a sense, you are doing commentary without doing commentary as
Sure, but there's a commentary versus managing.
Yes.
Instead of telling one story, you're telling all the stories, right?
Yes.
So again, I want to put him over because he took a chance on me, right? You got this. Don't worry. You'll be fine. And when you heard it back and he told me, he's like, yeah, you know what you're doing. We're going to work together and make this better. And we're going to bring out the best version of you. And then when I eventually got back to IWS in a full-time role, because now it's full-time. Now I'm IWS and I wear them on their sleeve, or wear it on my sleeve, excuse me. He's been nothing but just completely supportive, generous with his time once again, understanding.
he gets it. He gets
It's like
it.
it's his openness.
Yeah.
Which, unfortunately, in the world of professional wrestling, you hear it from everybody, not just necessarily the Montreal level, but the global aspect of wrestling. A lot of people have a lot of egos. It's a lot of bullshit. And he has been nothing but kind, nothing but cool to me, and nothing but real to me. And in a world that's, sorry guys, fake, he's been a real dude. So shout out to him.
Well, like I've always enjoyed Shane because Shane can make you boo him, he can make you cheer him, he can make you feel, and that's the same thing that you do as well in the ring. For me, Shane, I think Shane could have been a future champion in a promotion, maybe for IWS or any other promotion. He used to wrestle in Chicago. He wrestled Claudio Castagnoli. He fought Eddie Kingston. He fought all these big names.
He's the best pure wrestler that I've ever seen in terms of, and it just the guy that gets it, right?
Yeah.
Psychology. He gets all of it, and he's so good. He understands everything, but not only that, he understands everything about the professional wrestling business, inside and outside of the ring. If I can have a fraction of his brain, bro, I'm a success. So he's terrific.
Well, you're in good hands there.
100%,
especially with Shane. Talk to me about some wrestlers in IWS. I know we are good friends with Sexy Eddie, Animal, Green Phantom. The list goes on. Is there someone that maybe besides Bray De La Russa and Tyler Knox, is there someone maybe in the future that you would like to be a manager for or be behind one day?
At IWS, they're again, the Elevation Boys have my heart, but there's a guy named Dante Dubois. That's a big boy with a big personality. He is going to be a champion one day. He is built like a brick shit house. He's huge. He's a big boy. He's got big energy, and he gets it. He maximizes his time, one, but also with the fluidity in his movements. There's no wasted movement. And the fact that he's doing so in such an early stage of his career, the sky's the limit for him. He's money, and he's another homeboy. So, Dante, Marlo, let's make this happen one day, bro. Come on.
Let's go back to Torture Chamber because we're big fans of Torture Chamber, and one of my favorites, Paulo Triazzi. He's just got that charisma in him. I can't put my finger on it. But for him, I think more exposure, more matches, more of Paulo is a good thing for business. What do you think about Paulo potentially becoming the cruiserweight to British Commonwealth champion?
Look, like we said earlier, this is going to probably be filmed after Pandemonium, or this is filmed before Pandemonium, but it's going to be released after Pandemonium. So we don't necessarily know where we're at in terms of the landscape of the cruiserweight division. What I would say is this: more Paulo, like you said, is more money. I 1,000% agree. The fact that he's branching out to places like FML, respect to that. I want to see more for him. He's a terrific guy. He's a stand-up guy behind the scenes, and he's a unit in that ring from a wrestling standpoint, but also a character standpoint, right? He makes me feel like that old school 80s vibe where it's simple, where you strip it down. There's not like, of course, there's layers to his character, of course, but even at that, it's not necessarily too wicked. You know what I mean? It's like Rick Rude. What is Rick Rude? Rick Rude was Jack guy, sexy guy, ravishing. Paulo Trias is a rock star. He comes out with the light up jacket with the sunglasses. He oozes almost like a Razor Ramon-esque machismo, right? Yes. And like, I think one day, and I hope for him down the line, he gets more opportunities to be seen because he will be an asset in any company.
Other promotions out there that you've been working with, Victory Ring, of course. Can you talk about other promotions out there that maybe in the future you do want to work for?
Yeah, shout out to Victory Ring because they're holding up a really good ship over there. Shout out to Nicolas and Régent, who and the whole team involved over there, who are really putting forth a great product, but also a great presentation. Right? What we know about wrestling, of course, is from what we see on TV: the big lights, the big stage, the big screen, the production value, the fans being emotionally invested. Bro, Tetra Mines, they think it's real over there. Yeah, bro. They think like they legit. Dude, I went to Tetra Mines, and this is a good little story. It's a triple threat match. It's myself with Bjorg against Yane Harrison, Homeboy, and James Stone. We love James Stone. Him, bro. Him. Shout out to him. And we're just going through the match, going through the works, and we're going towards the end of the match. Now, I know, and we all know, that the whole point is Sugar Shane's going to get involved, and he's going to pull Yane Harrison's leg, and he's going to get crotched on the top rope. So I'm walking towards there, and prior to all this, my chicanery is a little bit on the higher level, suffice it to say, right? I'm being a little bit of a shit disturber, naturally. So
nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that. Unfortunately, however, I go to prepare myself for this next moment in the match, and I feel a very vigorous shove from the crowd. Someone gets up out of their seat and pushed me, shoved me, and it was a fan. Not necessarily part of the show, obviously. Okay. Part of any wrestling show is don't touch the fucking actors, bro. They're not there for you. They're there for your amusement. They're not there for you to touch, bro. But this guy, for whatever reason, decided to get up out of his chair, shove me with his 4 teeth, and then give me the riot act and give me the business. Wow. So I turn around and may or may not have cussed him out just a little bit in front of his wife, and I asked him to do it again. Look, I'm not the most intimidating guy. Look at me. But this guy was scared shitless that I actually reacted, and I was telling him, do it again. Do it again.
I don't think he expected you.
He didn't expect anything. So we're ripping each other one by one, and everyone's like pushing him aside, like, no, bro, like, it's just a show, like, don't touch him. Like, even his wife was like, yo, Régent, or Régis, whatever your name is. Reste assis, là, c'est juste un show. C'est un acteur, Régis, arrête, là. And I'm like, ripping him, whatever, and I'm like, hold on. Then I go to Yane Harrison, I crotch him, and the fucking place erupts because I'm doing this whole thing, and then the fucking crowd thinks that this was all part of the show.
Oh, my God.
That this guy pushing me and me ripping him and him ripping me in return.
That's you being on your toes. And then
wrestling's improv, bro. Wrestling's improv. So this happened. It all went well. All the beef is squashed. We're all chilling. It's all good. Whatever the fuck. But the reality of the situation is this is not a shit on Victory Ring whatsoever. But it's actually a praise because their fans are so invested in the product that I went home after that. I'm like, motherfucker, I need to do that again. I have to go back there again because the next time I come back, they're going to hate me more. Yeah, oh my God. You know what I mean? So shout out to Victory Ring for holding up, in my opinion, a product that is akin to a 1985 to 1993 WWF. Respect to them. They're killing it. Love those guys. FML. FML gave me one of my first opportunities after the whole Lutte Academy thing. I debuted at Lutte Academy. Jacques Rougeau gave me my debut match. So respect to you, Jacques. Still love you. With that in mind, FML gave me an opportunity to, hey, we want to bring you in and we want to give you this gimmick with the Pink Panthers. I don't know if you're familiar with the Pink Panthers. They were a faction, then they turned into a tag team. Respect to them. They're really doing a good job in the game right now. And shout out to them because they gave me another opportunity to showcase my skills. And they gave me good direction because I have some ideas, bro. Like, sometimes I have a little bit of creative in me that I'm like, let's do this. And they're like, well, maybe. And they steer me into the right direction. Okay. And Oz and Shikaka, they have been really cool with me, and shout out to them. Now, future opportunities. Shane Pinto is ready to go, right? My weekends are filled with opportunities to have opportunities. I'm ready to travel to Toronto, Saskatchewan, Vermont, Florida, Texas, whatever the case may be, wherever country needs it, I am ready to go. So sky's the limit, right? And hopefully the next couple of years, and hopefully as my career progresses in the world of professional wrestling, you'll see Sugar Shane more and more.
I hope so, because you know what, like opportunity, like you said, it's all about opportunities, and you take advantage of the opportunities, but if they're given to me, you know what, I'm going to make the best of them.
Absolutely,
right?
You have to maximize your minutes, right? You can get given the worst piece of creative, but if you maximize your time and you do it to the best of your abilities, you're going to prosper. I'll give you an example, right? And she's been killing it on a national stage. Chelsea Green, bro.
Yeah.
This is the week after Raw where they just had the battle royal, and she like got thrown out. Yes. And then she goes on the thing, bro.
Amazing.
That's 10 seconds worth of thing, and they're talking all about it on Twitter.
Yeah.
They're talking all about it on in the scene. Like, people need to understand that my time got cut. Shit. It went from 18 minutes now we're doing 8.
Yeah, it's exactly.
It could be demoralizing.
Yeah.
It could be, hell, I thought I was going to have a handicap match against Bjork at Pandemonium too. I thought it was going to be me and Genesis versus Bjork.
And telling me you had the singlet ready.
I had everything. Dude, I was going to come out with a singlet and boots, and people are going to be like, oh my God, what is he doing now?
The picture in my head of you coming out was like a Michael Cole-esque.
Well, so it's funny that you mentioned that. It was a huge inspiration, of course.
Yeah.
Here's the creative that I had in mind, right? Come out the suit, and they're going to be like, oh, this guy's going to come wrestle in a suit. Like, that's not good. I'll start off the match with Bjork. Be like, yeah, motherfucker. You ready?
I don't think Bjork
would have been in the corner. He would have been like, what is he doing, bro? He would have been the voice of everyone else being like, what are you doing, bro?
But as much as everybody maybe wants to see you get beat up by Bjork too as well, right?
Exactly. So, again, this is me just booking.
Yeah.
I'm in the ring, I'm in my suit, button comes off. And they're like, what is he doing? Slowly. And then it reveals the Andre the Giant singlet. And hopefully at that time I would have been a little bit more toned. And the athletic side would have come out. I highly doubt it, but a man can dream.
Yeah.
And then I'm in the full wrestling garb, if you will. Now we're ready to go. Bell rings. We're circling each other. And then I tag out and I go out and I just do my shtick, but I'm in a fucking singlet. You know what I mean?
Visual.
Just in this, and people are gonna be like, until he. And then here's the beauty of our business, because let's be real here, Pandemonium 2 is said and done. I'm probably gonna get my ass kicked by Bjork. That's just the nature of our business, nature of the beast. But I would have been doing so in a silly outfit, bro. But it is what it is. I could have been upset and been like, oh, I'm not in a match. Oh, I'm not doing it. It's all about perspective, man. You know, if Drew, I trust Drew and his judgment. I trust Drew and his creative. I trust the man behind Drew Onyx. I really do. And if he's telling me you're going to be just a manager and then whatever happens, bro, then let's go for it. It's all about perspective. Maximize your minutes. Maximize the time that you have in that ring, out that ring, because that's all you have.
It's like when Santino Barella got eliminated 1 second in, or, you know, like it's little things like that. Like, and you know what I go back to, I always say, and honestly, a lot of people don't understand, and sometimes I don't even understand why, but my favorite wrestler when I was a kid in 98, 99, 2000s, when I was in high school, was the Brooklyn Brawler.
Yes.
And I didn't understand that, and I still believed in high school in that time, and in that era, everyone still believed.
Right.
Attitude Era and everything. And he took L after L after L after L. But to the point where, and he was on, and we had him on the show. Unfortunately, I wasn't on that show, but Jeremy and our good friend Kyle interviewed him, and he got asked, he goes, a lot of people used to come up to me back in the day and just say, he's like, wow, you used to lose every single match, and people didn't understand. And now, years down the line, they say, now we understand what you were doing. You were making stars,
dude.
You know, and he told me the story. Well, he told us the story that when he was doing house matches with the Ultimate Warrior, he was doing every night. It was with Ultimate Warrior, and Ultimate Warrior was obviously going over on Brooklyn Brawler. So one time they said, Brawler, you're going over on the Warrior. He's like, what are you talking about? He goes out. They go, we want to see how Ultimate Warrior reacts. If he is going to be pissed off, if he's going to be a company guy, and the company guy that the Brooklyn Brawler was, because he knew that when that was going to happen, the Ultimate Warrior was going to freak out, because at that era he was a hothead.
Yeah.
Brooklyn Brawler goes and tells him, goes, I just want to let you know that I'm going to be going over you tonight. I'm not supposed to be telling you this, but I am telling you this because I respect you and I want you to react in the good way. And at the Hall of Fame, when Ultimate Warrior got inducted into the Hall of Fame, he brought up that story and gave the standing ovation to Brooklyn Brawler.
Wow.
And you kind of understand where it's like you said, if they give me this much, I'm going to do the best I can and show everybody that even if you give me this much, this is what it is. And
between you and me, right? Again, maybe it's a personal feeling, but at the end of the day, the wins and the losses, do they matter? Maybe to some.
Yeah.
Maybe in the grand scheme of a character, perhaps, Goldberg had the whatever streak, and that maybe that helps him.
Like Roman Reigns.
Roman Reigns with the 5-year thing, and that's awesome. But at the end of the day, the whole point is to make you feel something, right? Brooklyn Brawler made you feel something.
Yeah.
Bray Wyatt made me feel things.
Yes.
Right? That's the whole point of why we get into this business. And like I said at the beginning of the show, if I can just make someone feel a little bit, then my job is done. And if you're doing so with not enough time in your own mind, in your own perspective, as long as you're making them feel something, that's the end all be all, at least in my opinion. So
that's what it's all about in the end.
It's what it's all about.
And like you said, like with music too and everything, it's the same perspective too, right? Like
it's a different type of feeling with music, because at the end of the day, if I'm writing something, I'm not necessarily writing it for Frank Jofo or Madison Rack or JP Pinto or Costa and Mitch. I'm not. What I'm doing it for is I'm doing it for me, and if it makes me happy, I just hope it makes y'all happy at the end of the day, right? So music is a little bit different because the feeling is it's a really personal experience that I have, which the dichotomy of wrestling, it's all about. It's never about me, bro. As many people might think it is. Many people might think that I'm performing because I'm trying to put myself over, bro. If I wanted to put myself over, I would have been arrested.
Yeah. And you would have done it already.
I would have done it already.
Yeah.
Right? The whole point is I'm trying to make your kid happy. I'm trying to make you want to come back with him and have your kid have that same experience that I had when I was a kid. What I'm here to do, what I'm trying to exude is just gut feeling of happiness, sadness, anger, whatever the case may be, whatever feeling it is, I just want that for you. For music, I'm trying to feel something, bro. I'm writing what I'm feeling in that moment. I'm writing about personal experiences or how someone else's experience makes me feel. So I'm very blessed in that regard to have two creative mediums that fulfill that both, because not a lot of people do, man.
Yeah, that's true.
Not a lot of people do. So I live a very blessed life. And at the end of the day, if I got nothing in this world, at least I get to have those two feelings. And in and of itself is a beautiful thing.
And speaking about feelings, man, you made me feel something like at LUTTE Academy. I think it was the semifinal, and that's why you're the best in the game, man. You came out, you had from one event to the other, you had people cheering for you, standing ovation, probably the biggest ovation in LUTTE Academy, with the ole ole chants, and then everyone thought you were on that same path again, and I knew where you were going with that promo. and everybody got it, and it looked line and sinker, and you just like, everyone was like, whoa, yeah. when you threw Jacques Rougeau under the bus. It's the name of the game. You're doing it personally, but for the wrestling side of it, like, What were you feeling in that situation where everybody was just cheering ole, 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 and
So it's true, right? So I do the Ole first, and then I do Rougeau.
with the Canadian jersey on too as well?
I'm maximize your opportunity, right? Like,
Yes.
that was the nature of the previous segment. But Jacques calls me maybe a month before the show, and he's like, "Obviously, we want you to come back, but can you be a babyface?" And I'm like, "I'm sorry, what?" He's like, "We want you to come back." And oh, there he is. Hi, Jacques. Is he putting me over in this clip? Is that what it is? He's there on the screen. Shout out to Jacques and Jeremy.
He's putting you over many times, that's for sure, especially on our show.
He called me he's a good kid, is what he called me. I think I'm going to put that on my tombstone. Sugar Shane Pinto, a good kid, Jacques Rougeau. Yeah, so he comes up to me and he calls me. It's on FaceTime, and I remember because his face was like, and we know Jacques. Hi, Jacques. And he's like, "We want you to come back, and Bjork's going to be a babyface." And I'm like, huh. Not only is Bjork going to be a babyface, but there's going to be another manager, Moishe. And Moishe's a good guy.
Yes.
Let's be real.
Yes.
He's a good guy, and he has a good heart. But when I was there, and I'm like, 2 managers? And we're maximize your minutes, bro. You got to do what you got to do. So
That's what you want? Exactly.
what's the easiest, entre guillemets, easiest way for me to get a babyface reaction? Well, of course, the heels are going to come out first.
Yes.
Rip the town, and then obviously, that's just wrestling. But what's the added leverage that I have? Mama Sugar, who's my mom, works for the Bell Center.
Really?
Yeah, along with my girlfriend. They work together at the Bell Center. And I'm like, well, I'm not necessarily a Habs fan. I'm not a hockey fan per se. But you know who is? Everyone in that fucking building.
Yeah.
Ma, I need a jersey. He sends me the jersey, wear the jersey, wearing it to the ring. And I'm like, well, I got them. Right?
You had everybody on the edge of their seat, and
Dude,
it was amazing.
It's like Pavlov, right? So they see the thing, and then I didn't have to say anything, and the chants were going.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's me. I'm saying that the Habs brand made that happen. Awesome. And then, but dude, they were doing it for a while.
Yes. And I'm like, wow, this.
And then everyone gets to do their promo, right?
Yeah.
I knew for a fact that I wanted to close it because maybe selfishly, well, maybe remember what I'm saying a little bit more, fair to say. So the LA chants are going, and I'm about to. I have the mic in my hand, and they're doing the fucking chant.
Yeah.
And I can't even get a word in edgewise.
They did not stop.
They did not stop. And then Jacques is looking at me, and he's like, "Wrap it up, wrap it up." And I'm like, "Shit." So one of those moments where I had to act on the fly.
Yeah.
But what a beautiful moment. And shout out, Montreal is the best sports city, bar none. And I'm not just saying that I'm biased. I'm a Philly fan. I'm an Eagles fan. They're great too. That's a sports city and a half. But Montreal is a different beast. Bro.
Yeah.
That's like tribalism to a language.
Yeah.
Bro, it's beautiful. Fast forward the next month, Shane, we want to bring you back. And you're going to be a heel. In the world of Facebook and other social medias, there was some talks about perhaps the Hall of Fame. And Jacques really thinks he wants to be in the Hall of Fame. And I hope
one day, yeah.
I hope one day, you know what I mean? For him, I hope he gets that closure, and I hope that book ends it for him.
Yeah.
Because the Rougeaus did a lot for me.
Yes.
I'm not going to say that they didn't, because they did.
Yes.
But now I have to use it. You know what I mean? I have to. I have no choice. So, pulling the curtain a little bit back, Jeremy Prophet has been very cool to me and very generous with his time too. I get backstage from the show, we're running through the match, and then I pull Jeremy aside. You have 2 minutes, and I want to run this promo idea by you. And I'm like, I want to address the fact that I had the Habs jersey last time, and now we're going to switch on them, do the bait and switch, nah. So we're riffing with each other. And we're like, well, my opponents have a better chance of winning than the Expos do getting in the Hall of Fame. Boo, little boo, right? And then he comes back to me and he says, well, they have a better chance of winning as the Habs do winning the Stanley Cup. Boo, because then you have the Montreal Canadiens jersey thing again. And then we're like, well, what's the third one?
when you said the first two, I'm like, I go, holy shit. I go, I think he's gonna go there. And I go, I don't think he's gonna do it.
Backstage, me and Jeremy
with Ray Rougeau sitting there too as well, his brother.
In his face. Anyways, it was beautiful. We're looking at each other.
You, man.
And we're looking at each other, he and I, and at the same time our souls clicked. And we both said it together. As much of a chance as Jacques Rougeau ever does getting into the Hall of Fame. We both popped. And then I'm like, okay, but do we tell Jacques? He's like, it's up to you. I'm like, do I want the genuine reaction?
Yes.
Or do I want to go the respectful way?
That too, exactly, yeah.
So I go up to Jacques. I went up to Jacques Rougeau and I said, with all due respect, I'd like to say this line. And fucking Jacques popped. He thought it was the funniest fucking thing that he ever heard. He's like, you got it. It's yours.
Wow.
He's like, if you would have done that, I would have killed you. And if you didn't tell me, I would have killed you. Classic Jacques.
Amazing.
But he's like, I respect it. Do it. I'm going to put it over on commentary too.
Wow.
So I go out there and I do it. And I'm looking at him dead in the camera, or dead in his eyes, excuse me. And he was like, you motherfucker. He mouthed you motherfucker to me because I got him.
Yeah.
But he knew I was going to get him. And everyone else got it too.
Yeah.
Well, my mom talks about that moment to this day. When she goes, and my mom, my girlfriend, my grandparents, my dad, I have many number one fans, but my mom, every chance she gets to put over her son, will go and be like, bro, you know what he did? He said he ripped Jacques Rougeau. It was hilarious. Rougeau was going to kill him. Oh my God. Rougeau, respect to him, because in that moment, he was like, it's all yours, go for it.
He was a heel. He was one of the biggest heels back in the day.
He gets it.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And like, let's be real here. Jacques has a little bit of the personality in his everyday life too. He's doing it on the only reason why I can assume, and Jacques, correct me if I'm wrong, man, I'm speaking out of turn, please reach out to me. But the only reason why he's coming up and saying this stuff about the Hall of Fame is just because he's getting more exposure on it.
Of course.
At the end of the day, promoting. He's trying to promote himself and work himself into the Hall of Fame. If he can do it, good for him.
Exactly.
If that's going to get you in the Hall of Fame, bravo, bro. If you need to go another way and maybe do the nicer way of doing it, that's another story. But for now, he's trying what he can. And I can respect that. So, Jacques, thank you for giving me that line. Thank you for giving Angelo D'Amico the opportunity to put me over to everybody in the world because of this one line. So,
and that face with wishes too. He had a good face too there. And like you said, he has a big heart and everything, and it was good, man. And I can't wait for LUTTE Academy to come back in a couple of months. But is there what's the future hold for Shane Pinto? Because like I said, is I know like you said, pull back the curtain. You're a great heel manager, but is there ever maybe a day that you'll be a babyface manager, or is that something that maybe let's see if it happens, or let's?
I think the best things that happen in this business happen with natural progression.
Yeah.
The turn of Dominic Mysterio from this plucky babyface into this absolutely detested heel that he is, and he's getting all this heat. All in all, when that guy becomes a babyface,
oh my God,
he's going to be bigger than Eddie. It's saying it's
slow building that.
Building it. It's the same thing with Roman.
Yeah,
Roman now with I can only imagine is this redemption of Roman Reigns that we're seeing on WWE television right now.
You see it right now. What's happening right now, right?
It only means that we're going to get the Roman Reigns babyface turn that he who shall not be named wanted years ago. And he's going to be massive. Now for Sugar Shane, if naturally there comes a time where the great fans of the professional wrestling industry finally open their eyes and realize that I'm just a good guy trying to make it in the business. If that ever happens one day where I get the fans on my side, I just hope they're doing so because they want to do it, not because they're forced. Okay. For now, I'm just doing me, right? Sugar Shane is just doing him in the most natural form. If they turn out to like that one day, respect them. Sugar Shane as a babyface manager, Sugar Shane as a heel manager, I don't necessarily subscribe to that school of thought. Where I'm at currently in this moment is I'm just me. If you hate me, you're wrong, and if you love me, you're right, bro.
People hate you, but everyone respects you in that sense, and even if they're booing you, for me, booing it's like a gratification because it's the reaction you're making people react to what you're doing.
As long as it's not silent, man.
Exactly.
As long as they're not silent. And look, I've there have been times, intermissions after show, before the show, where fans want to come up to me, parents with their kids, and they're like, "We want to take a picture with me." Really? Really? Me. And I say that because, like, it's like a fever dream to a degree, because the last thing I would have expected, I've always dreamed about it as a kid, but now I get to make this happen. It's fucking nuts, man. So I love wrestling. These people want to come up to me and take a picture with me. These people want to come up and pick my brain and ask me how I'm doing. And I just want to make sure that they're having that experience too. So it's a wild business, and I'm so lucky and I'm so blessed to be part of it.
There's many times where we drive home from Georgia General, I go, I can't believe Shane said this, and I can't believe it's that's what I love about professional wrestling. That's why I love the way you are, because you're real, man. And there's no, like, you're not playing a character. This is you. It's
parts of me. Look. Is Shane gonna wear a button shirt and show half his chest in real life? Most likely. Yeah. If you know me, that's probably what I'm doing. But am I really gonna go out there and tell you to sit down when you're actually sitting down in a chair already because I'm an asshole? Not necessarily, right? But of course there are elements. It's the whole turn yourself up to 11, brother. That's what wrestling is. So yeah, there are elements of me, and I think the beauty of this character, the beauty of who Sugar Shane is that there's so much more layers to come from this that even I don't know about yet, but they're gonna come, and that's the beauty of wrestling.
Like maybe like a special guest referee kind of stint.
No, you can huge stripes like that shit. I'm gonna maybe, I don't know if I can't count, bro. I'm not gonna. What? No.
We'll leave the counting to Brandon.
Well, yeah, shout out to Brandon.
He always has good things to say about you.
No, he doesn't. He's a piece of shit. Fuck it. No, I love Brandon, and what Brandon, I'm gonna give him a shout out too, from earlier. I'll add him to that list of good guys, and here's why. Brandon Carrier did something that I wish every single person in the wrestling business would do a little bit more, and that's make themselves available. What that means, at least to me, is this. In this tribalistic, for lack of a better term, world of the Quebec professional wrestling scene, I'm saying this with eyes rolled in the back of my head because this is fucking stupid. Brandon was the first guy to go everywhere.
Yeah. You see him reffing everywhere.
Fucking everywhere. He's not designated to one place. He is just doing his job.
And he loves it.
So shout out to him for doing it, because that is an inspiration, I hope, for everybody else in the scene. Don't limit yourself.
Yeah.
Not necessarily. And that goes for everything. As a performer, as a person. If you're putting bookends on yourself, then I wish you wouldn't. You try, learn, go places, make connections, meet people, because that's what this is all about. So shout out to Brandon, because he's... Bruno, what the fuck? You're making noise. What the hell? Shout out to Bruno for having the best head of hair on the independent professional wrestling scene. Yeah. No, but yeah, going back to Brandon, he busts my chops, suffice it to say. But he's a good guy, and he's doing very good in his position.
He is. Shane, winding it down now, tell us where we could find you on social media. Plug your socials, plug your promotions that you wrestle for. The floor is yours, my friend.
Please allow me to introduce myself. My name is Sugar Shane Pinto, hottest pro wrestling manager in the game today, and you can find me at IWS, Torture Chamber Pro Wrestling, FML. You're going to find me on WWE, AEW, New Japan, AAA. I don't care. You will see me in that ring one day. Mark my words, manifest into reality. My socials at Sugar Shane Pinto on all platforms, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. I think that's my thing on TikTok. If not, we'll figure it out. Edit it and post, Bruno. And guys... First, before we end this, thank you for having me on.
Thank you.
Because we've been talking about this for a long time, about how I want to do this. And what you guys have been doing for this sport and for this scene is you're putting a platform for people who don't necessarily get to have a platform. And you should take great pride. Both of you should take great pride in that, because you're putting a lot of exposure on people who deserve the exposure.
Appreciate that.
Kudos to you. With that in mind, I ain't going anywhere. I ain't dead yet, motherfucker. So Sugar Shane Pinto is going to live in this business. He's going to live out of this business. And I hope to see new faces, make new friends, make new connections down the road. And That's what it's all about.
You know what? I hope one day, I hope I get to be on the couch watching you walk that aisle in WWE, AEW, Impact, wherever the case may be. But whatever you're doing right now, keep doing what you're doing because I love every second of it. And I know everybody out there loves every second of that too as well.
Before you wrap it up, we have a fan question from a fan myself. Email to jofointhering@gmail.com from Selecta Brew. Sugar Shane Pinto. He's got the money. He's got the power. Do you think that one day we could see Sugar Shane Pinto politic his way into some sort of authority figure, commissioner type of role?
Wow, that's a loaded one.
That has some sort of reign of terror, or not a reign of terror, but a reign of power.
Terror.
A money-making machine, but that goes into the Sugar Shane Pinto pocket more than anything else.
Addressing Paul Heyman again, and hopefully we can turn this into a reality one day. This professional wrestling business in and of itself is something that I love too, right? If I can turn this business into my means of income where I can live comfortably, then yes. But I think your question is more related to being an authority figure on sort of TV platform, right? Who's to say that's not already in the works?
Ooh, baby.
Who's to say that Sugar Shane Pinto doesn't already have a stake in the companies that he's in? Only time will tell. Tune in and find out.
You know what I always say? Do you always have plan A, plan B already ready to go? So I can't wait for the future holds for you, Shane. It's been a pleasure, Shane, honestly. And honestly, the door is open for whatever time you want to come and do another interview with us, another watch along, whatever you want to do. The floor is yours here at Jofo in the Ring. And I really appreciate your time today. And honestly, we'll see you soon at the next event, FML, Torture Chamber, IWS.
Hook me.
Follow this.
I'm ready. I'm free.
Follow this man and support this man. Follow him on all social media platforms. Follow us on all social media platforms, YouTube as well. And everybody out there, remember, wrestling is life.
Please allow me to introduce myself. My name is Sugar Shane Pinto. It's a good one. It's a good one. Give me more of that. Ladies and gentlemen, what you're hearing is bitterness because I have more money than all of them combined. That's what's going on. I couldn't think of a better way to start up the hottest pro wrestling show in the game today than with the hottest pro wrestling manager in the game today. On a night where we will see a new #1 contender, my man, Kaito Yamanashi, goes up against Captain Quebec, Jimmy Woods, who's busy having an identity crisis. Oh, you like Jimmy Woods? Jimmy Woods looks like Mike Plummer, bro. That's not a professional wrestler. He manages IGA. It's enough. Loser. Suicide, Jesus Christ! I haven't seen. Oh, you like Suicide Jesus? Listen to this one. You like this too. You like this too. Suicide, Jesus Christ! He hasn't taken a shower in 13 days. Justin Turnbull. And Kyle Nicholson, who granted, big boy, very dominant, but he has the personality of a bag of baby carrots. You know, he's boring. He's boring. On a night shall die. It's not going to be pure Hawken versus Genesis. It's going to be pure Hawken versus Genesis